Hi there. Happy Sunday. It's actually trying to be sunny now. We've had like the 4 seasons in one day. Put the washing out, threw it down. So the washing's in and it's now on a drying rack. And I can't be bothered to put it back outside again because even though it's blue skies and it's looking quite nice, I don't trust the weather. And I am not prepared to go out and peg it all out and then bring it all back in again. So it'll stay on the dryer for the moment. Anyway, for those of you who follow me on Facebook, Instagram and my live YouTube, I did a craft fair yesterday. Craft fairs in the UK are not quite the same as they are in the US. In the US you sell things like washcloths, towel toppers, stuff like that. They just would not sell in the UK. I can't think of anybody who actually owns a towel topper. And I don't think anybody would actually, excuse me, I'm just getting my drink. Oh my goodness mate, I've just slashed it all over the floor, so that's great, I've got to mop that up later. I don't actually know anybody who owns a towel topper. You must be different in the US, that's all I can say. I look at videos saying hints of things to sell at a craft fair. And they're all things that would not sell in the UK. I've come to the conclusion you have different kinds of craft fairs. I think the only things that would really sell at craft fairs are things I don't make, like amigurumis, and I'm not about to start making them just for the sake of a craft fair. So, anyway, the day was quite good. It was a lovely craft fair. If you look at my Facebook pages, there is a video there that was filmed by the lady who was running it. She videoed everybody, including the burger van in the car park and everything like that. I've still got an upset stomach, so the burger van was completely out of the question, as was the cakes. Beautiful cake stall, but I'm like, no. With my stomach the way it is, being in its delicate state, I didn't dare. So I sat there all day and I didn't eat anything. So the upshot is that I've now lost 8 pounds, but it's not the way I want to lose it actually. Losing weight by just not eating and feeling absolutely rubbish is not something I would recommend. Anyway, back to the craft fair. I liked it because it was a good experience. I met new people, I had a good chit chat. It was a good afternoon, but lunchtime afternoon out. Yeah, there were some beautiful things that other people had made, you know, a variety of things. As you will see from the video if you watch it, it's on Facebook, not on YouTube. You know, the variety of things that were for sale were lovely. I didn't really get a chance to have a look around because I was on my own this time, so I couldn't like leave somebody looking after the store while I went and had a browse, yeah. So I looked at the video with as much sort of interest as you did, yeah. I did sell a couple of cardigans, well, jackets or whatever, and I sold 3 tops. So I was quite pleased about that. Not a sellout, like some people said, oh, I hope you sell everything. That would have been a miracle. People don't go to craft fairs with the kind of money loose like my stuff is, yeah. I did reduce a lot of the prices of everything, but it still didn't tempt anybody much. I'm still working on making the web page, putting photographs up and trying my best that way. I was watching a video by Crafternoon Treats, if you've ever watched her, and she was talking about like the perils of Etsy. And she'd actually worked out that she was paying between 20 and 40% to Etsy when she sold anything, which backs up what I was thinking. They're saying 6%, but it's no way is it 6%, no way in the world. Plus the fact when I tried to go back on Etsy, they wanted me to have a US tax code number. So not only were they going to take 20 to 40% off me, they wanted to tax me as well. So I thought, this is just a waste of space and time. They were earning more money than I was, and I was the one doing the grocery. So I thought, no way, I'm not going back on Etsy. Anyway, we'll see what happens next. I'll just show you the couple of things that I'd made. I'd sold most of them actually. Excuse me, and I can't find the others at the bottom of the bag. I still haven't unpacked my bags from coming home. They were a bit heavy and my son had to help me and he's gone home. My great-granddaughter and 2 of her friends were here, so my son and my daughter-in-law have taken them home, which is why I'm here on my own on doggy duty, which I don't mind, but it gives me a chance to make a video. Anyway, one of the tops I've taken, I did sell, I think I sold the other yellow one, yes I did. If you want to look at the pictures, they're on Instagram when I made them. I sold the orange one, I sold the other yellow one, and I sold a purple one that I'd made beforehand, yeah. I've still got the white one, was it? Oh gosh. Well, it was here a minute ago, I must be sat on it. Oh, here it is. I had to pull this off sale actually while I was there because I found out that one of my sewing up bits was coming undone. So I had to pull it off sale. It's one with the lacy edging on the bottom, yeah. Again, there's pictures of these that I made. I made 3. I made a lime green one, an orange one which is sold, this white one, and I think I made a yellow one which is sold. So it's very pretty, look at the edging. And they're lace at the back, so they're like one size fits all. Well, one size fits normal people, not plus size people like me. Oh, and then one of my older ones that I've made a long time ago actually. I think this is so pretty, but it's so small. It's beautiful, it's got like fancy bits on it, it's so lovely. But I had to amend the back because it was so tiny. I did the back panel, you know, to make it wider because it was just all strings and straps. And I know young lassies like sort of showing off when they go to festivals and that, but I thought that was a little bit brief, yeah. So this week actually I've got quite a lot on actually this week. I found a new knit club on a Mondays that I'm going to try tomorrow, and I was told when I was out on yesterday, a lady came up to me and said, oh, you want to try this other knit club, which is on a Wednesday. So I'll try that one. We can only try them all. Excuse me, bending again for my drink. We can only try them all and see which one we like the best, yeah. I'll still carry on going to my Wednesday evening one because I do like the ladies there. As I said before, I've stopped going to the Wednesday afternoon one. Clash of ideas, personalities, people, not my scene at all. I've been putting up with it and grumbling to myself every time I came home. And, you know, thinking, I'm not enjoying this. And to be quite frank, if you're not enjoying something, then you don't have to do it. It's not like I'm forced to do it. It wasn't like I had to go to work or anything. So I thought to myself last week, why am I doing this? Why am I going when I don't want to go? So I just made the decision. End of story, I'm not going anymore. Which meant it helped, you know, gap like in the calendar. So now I'm going out, well, hopefully tomorrow, to try this new knit group out. I'm going out Tuesday, singing. Can't sing, don't hold tune in a bucket, but it doesn't really matter because it's just a sing-along. I think I told you that we went to Affinity, well it used to be called Freeport, which is a shopping outlet, and we sang there last Tuesday and we had quite a good reaction, people going by. It was a horrible day, so there wasn't as many people passing by as there might have been on a sunny day. But I got so cold. And you know, when we're having this IBS trouble for the last, 3-4 weeks now, it didn't help getting absolutely what I call start through. So, anyway, right back. Wednesday, I'm now going to try maybe this other knitting group I've been recommended. Then I will go to my evening knitting group. Thursday, I go singing at the church where we had the craft fair. It isn't a choir, it isn't a churchy choir, it's just a community choir sing-along. You know, there's no pressure on you there to go to church or anything like that. It's not that I'm anti-religious, you know, anything like that, but I wouldn't have wanted to go if they were like, oh, you must come to church, oh, you've got to come to church. But they're not like that at all. The vicaress, or whatever you want to call her, the lady vicar, she's absolutely lovely. She's good fun, she's lovely. And then it leaves me Friday free. So no doubt I'll find something. So I'm feeling much better about, well, apart from my stomach, about kind of living around here. The weather's been dire. All of you that need air conditionings, be grateful, because the weather here is cold. Still waiting for this promised heat wave. I believe some people in the south did get a couple of days, so I'm just keeping my eye on Rosie. She's trying to go in the summer house where she would cause no end of havoc. And what was I going to say? I forgot. Oh, I've lost my train of thought thanks to Rosie. It's not hard for me to lose my train of thought. I can lose my train of thought in the middle of a sentence. I think it's called old age. I did pass my Alzheimer's test, so I don't have that. I'm just forgetful. I think really it's kind of lacking concentration, you know, when you sort of... My mind has a habit of going off on a tangent. When I'm talking or thinking one thing, my mind's ahead. My mind's on the next subject, or my mind's drifted off somewhere. It's nothing new. I used to be the same when I was in school. You know, I'd be half listening to what was going on in the classroom, and then my mind would go off somewhere or other. And I'd suddenly start thinking about something else, and it was like something I couldn't stop. It was like, and then I'd like, stop thinking about that. Bring yourself back into the present and listen to what the teacher's saying. And I have a real habit of doing that. I mean, I even do it when I'm reading. I can read, and then I get to the end of the page and I think, I've forgotten what I was reading about. And this is not new. This is not like an old age thing. This has been me from far back as I can remember it. I think I have the, sort of mind capacity of a gnat, you know. Or a goldfish, should they say, once it's been round the bowl, it's forgotten it's been round, yeah. There goes my phone. So anyway, I wasn't disappointed with the craft show yesterday. Obviously it would have been wonderful if I'd have sold out everything. Right. Watch DOY Creations live in 30 minutes. No, I won't be doing that. I'm looking after the doggies. So if you all want to go over there, she's probably not live anymore by the time you're watching this. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, about the craft fair. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And the choir that I normally sing with on a Thursday evening, they did three songs. They were very well sort of appreciated. Everybody's clapping and everything. And they did actually sound really good, considering it's a newly formed choir and they've only been singing together for a matter of a few weeks. You can count the weeks, I think, on one hand that they've been actually singing together. And when you think they were doing the harmonies, you know, the low bits and the descant bits and everything, I thought they did very, very well. I sang, but from my stall, so nobody could hear me. They said to me, are you coming up on the, the podium bit, the altar bit, whatever it is, to sing? And I said, oh no, I'll sing from here. If I'd have had somebody with me to mind me stall, but I didn't, so. Yeah, so all in all, it was a good, I came back and I did my live, and thankfully, there was nothing wrong with the sound. When I was doing my video live last week, the sound cut out towards the end, and everybody's going, we can't hear you, we can't hear you. And I'm thinking, oh, sugar bush, does that mean I've got to buy a new camera? Because my little camera's got the microphone in it, yeah. So I thought, oh, sugar bush, I don't want to have to buy a new camera really, because I'm desperately trying to pay off the mobility scooter, which thankfully, thanks to the people who bought things from me yesterday, I can pay off double what I normally pay for the end of July. Yeah, so hey, going down, going down. As I said to my son, considering how much I borrowed on the credit card, which was only like last year. It was like £2,000 I put on the credit card, and now it's down, or it will be down to about 400, which is quite within reach, let's just say, within reach. I mean, I've had to pull in the horns, you know, to pay quite a lot more each month, but I just object to paying the kind of interest rates they charge on these credit cards. But I'm glad I bought it when I did, because I have used it and it's been useful. I haven't got out and about on the buses and the trams like I wished, because the weather's not been good. I should have been born in a warmer climate, I've decided. I should have been born on the Mediterranean, Spain, somewhere like that, yeah. Because I just don't like the cold. And the older I've got, the more cold I'm becoming. I get like waves of shivers coming all over me. I mean, the funny thing is, when I looked it up on Google, which is a dangerous thing to do, it said things like low blood sugar, which is a bit daft because you think I'm diabetic, I've got high blood sugar. But I must confess, when I went to the walk-in centre the other week when I was really bad with my IBS, they did take my, finger, what I would call it, finger prick thing, and my blood sugar was normal, which it hasn't been normal for ever and a day. But like my daughter-in-law said, it's probably because you're not eating. So I'm wondering if these waves of shivers I'm getting all over me is because my blood sugar's low. Because of course, I'm a chocolate fiend, even though I shouldn't be eating it. But I haven't, because I felt so grotty these last few weeks that I haven't been eating my usual ration of chocolate. And my great-granddaughter made cakes yesterday, and they look beautiful. Homemade cakes, they look absolutely gorgeous. But I'm not even tempted, because I'm thinking, oh no, I'll get a stomachache. The minute I eat that, stomachache. And it's the same, everything I eat, stomachache. Oh well, this is sounding like a moany video, isn't it? And it's not what I intended at all. I came on to tell you I was in a happy mood because I sold some things at the craft fair. My next thing will be to actually put some things in my webpage. My friend Sarah helped me to make a webpage. I can only list 9 items for free. I haven't actually read up how much it would cost if I put more than 9 items, how much they actually do charge, for each extra item. Because 9 items isn't an awful lot when you've got a shed full. Oh, the lady from the craft shop that was supposed to be coming from Liverpool didn't arrive because it coincided with her opening day, yeah. So of course she was there in Liverpool on her opening day. I did message her and say, I'm sorry you didn't manage to come. So she said, oh well, I'll try to come to the next one. But like the next scheduled one at the Methodist Church isn't till October. And with not having transport, I really don't fancy travelling, miles out my way to another craft fair. Yeah. So the door's banging now. That's how windy it's become again. And the sun's gone in again. You can get 4 seasons in one day living here, I'm telling you. I watch a lovely lady, she's called, what's it called, Aging something or other, I'll put the link underneath. She lives in Brighton, and she used to be on the TV and everything like that, and now she's like kind of my age. But I thought, oh well, she's lovely, she lives in Brighton, it looks beautiful and all that, and she said she's considering moving because the wind, she's right near the sea where she lives, and she's up on a hill. She says the wind spoils it all, and I'm like, I know what you mean. If the wind would drop here, it would be quite nice, but it's the wind off the sea, it comes bashing across. You find like you should be wearing shorts and a t-shirt, and instead you're wearing your hoodie, because it's that, well, it is to me. If you're walking, or you're power walking with a dog or something like that, you would get nice and warm, wouldn't you? Or if you were jogging, you'd get nice and warm. But when you're on a scooter and the wind's like coming straight at you, it's not warm. and I get the shivers, and I'm like, and I'm miserable. Trust me, when I'm cold, I am miserable. I'm a real noughty, as we say in Oldham where I come from. A noughty old bat when I get cold. Yeah, noughty means you're, I don't know, out of sorts, you're awkward, you're miserable. That's what noughty means. It's a dialect word, I think, yeah. I was watching Who Do You Think You Are on BBC. Yes, not yesterday, day before. Ralph Little, him that's in, you know, the royal family and things like that. And what's it, half a pint of lager and 2 packets of crisps or something like that. And I was quite interested because I used to live right sort of close by to Prestwich Hospital, which was a mental institution. And he found out that his great-granddad, no, his granddad he was, worked there for many years, and so did his grandma. His grandma worked as a laundress. And it was like showing around Prestwich Hospital, obviously not the patients, although it's wound right down these days. It isn't a quarter the size it used to be when I lived there first. And so it was quite interesting to know his grandma and granddad had got married in Prestwich. And his uncle actually lived in Radcliffe, which is just round the corner, so that was interesting. And then it went on to cover where his granddad was during the war. And he was up in Orkney, which is in the Shetland Isles in Scotland. And of course he went up when it was, the weather was dire, and he was on a ferry, and it was, oh, and I'm thinking, my poor father was stationed up there during the war. He was what they call on the AC, it's the aircraft gunners and the radar and stuff. I mean, he probably was inside one of those little round pillbox things they had. Because they thought that Hitler was going to attack from that end and come in through Scotland. This is what they had figured, that's the way he would come into England. I don't think he ever did, but my dad was on the anti-aircraft guns, the ACAC as they called it. And he did radar, but he was stuck up on Shetland and the Orkney Isles and everywhere like that for blooming ages. And he used to tell tales about how bleak it was. And this is where I sort of got interested in, you know, the Shetland knitting ladies. How they used to knit as they were walking down the road on their way to market. They'd have a big sack of vegetables or whatever on their back, and they'd be trudging along, but they'd be knitting. And that's where I got the idea for my knitting belt. They had a leather belt that was stuffed with horsehair with holes in it, and they wedged a needle in it so they could knit as they were walking along without like dropping any stitches. And they'd have a big apron on with the wool tucked in the apron pocket. So if ever you're interested in that sort of thing, just look up the Shetland knitters. They used to do such fantastic fair isle work. And they used to make what they call the wedding ring shawls. They were fine, fine shawls, and you could, they were actually that fine you could thread them through a wedding ring. Because my dad said that he couldn't work out what all these like frames were outside cottages. And he thought at first there was something to do with the fishing industry. You know, like maybe drying the catch, you know, for dried fish and stuff like that. Until he asked, and they were actually frames for what we would now call blocking, but they used to call pinning out, yeah. And they used to knit these shawls and then they used to pin them out on these wooden frames to stretch them so that they would be fine. And then the wind, of course, you know, in the Shetland now it's very windy, would dry them, yeah. And then they used to, I don't know where they went, they used to have a market for them. I suppose some enterprising person, even back in the 40s, was buying them for peanuts from these crofting ladies and selling them on. As it is with the way of the world, there's always somebody there to make a profit, yeah. And they did the same, and they used to make beautiful arrange, you know, with cabling on them. And if you ever go into the history of cabling sweaters and Aran sweaters, I mean in Ireland as well as Scotland, because Ireland and Scotland have very close links if you go back to the past. Each family had its own design, And the thing was, if they, oh, come in, if anybody was lost at sea and to identify them, they used to be able to identify them by their sweaters, yeah. And I can remember my aunt, she was a very firm knitter, and you used to buy some wool called Guernsey wool, and it was like an oiled wool, and I think it only came in navy blue and cream. And she knitted my ex-husband a very fine knitted sweater that he used to wear when he was sailing, and he said it was fantastic, it kept the wind out and everything because it was, you know, so dense, like, yeah. Oh. That just made the dog jump. Yeah. So that means I better go, doesn't it? Because my video always cuts out, yeah. Anyway, I will put a link to Alternative Aging, that's what the lady's called that lives in Brighton. I love watching her. She does facial videos, she does how to tie headscarves, she does fashion videos, she does walks around Brighton. I love watching her. She lives the lifestyle I would love. If I only had the moolah, you know, the money. Still, never mind. Yeah. Right, I'm going to go now. I'm going to put everything, I'll sew the top together where it's falling apart due to my rubbish stitching up. It isn't falling apart, it's just where I darned an end in. I obviously didn't darn it in very well and it's come undone. Put these things ready for my son to take out to the shed again. I was going to spend tomorrow actually putting things away in the shed, but I won't because I'm going to see this new knit group. We shall see what we shall see. I'll do it sometime, won't I? Time's my own. I'm retired. I don't have to punch in the time clock anymore. I do what I want, when I want, within reason, of course. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to say goodbye for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you'll carry on watching. And please take a look at that video on Facebook of the craft fair, because if you're in America, it's nice, I think, to look at how craft fairs are in other countries, like I like looking at the ones that are in America. Right. So I'm going to say farewell before I get cut off. So bye-bye. See you soon.